You can become one of the 3%. I guarantee you, you can earn a lot of money. I think earning money is one of the simplest things I ever learned, and it's one of the most misunderstood things. If this worked for me, it would work for anybody. I want you to think about your life, and I want you to think about your income. I want you to think about money. Money's subject that is a subject that not a lot of people want to talk about. And when you do talk about it, a lot of people get defensive. They say, well, money's not everything. Well, that's sort of a ridiculous statement. Of course it's not everything. But money's important. It's very important. I frequently ask the person if they come to work with me, what's the most you've ever earned in a year? I really don't care what the answer is, but I want to know what the answer is. Because when they tell me the answer, what they're doing is telling me where their mind is programmed with respect to money. See, our mind is programmed. You're working with a program, I'm working with a program. Now, most people are working with a program that someone else built. They are the production of somebody else's habitual way of thinking. I'm going to suggest that you can rewrite the program.
The problems that you're facing, maybe the lack of money, or the loved ones telling you you're crazy, you're wasting your time, get a job. What do you do?
If you've already got it, it's really good to hear it again. If you haven't got it, you're going to love it. It's really about how to create all you want. You have to have multiple sources of income. You can go back to the ancient Babylonians, as far back in ancient history as you can go, and you're going to find that the wealthy people all had multiple sources of income. 3% of our population are earning 97% of all the money that's being earned. And everybody says that's unfair. Well, it's based on a law. That's really what it's based on. Our income is the harvest of our production. That's really what it is. But 3%, some of those 3% are not very well educated insofar as we look at education. Some of them are functionally illiterate. They can neither read nor write. Now, some of them are absolutely brilliant. But you're going to find people that are absolutely brilliant that fall into the 97% category that have to split up 3% of the money that's earned. Why and how does this happen? My income went from $4,000 to $175,000 in a year. And it was based on the concept that I want to explain to you here. But what we have to understand is that the earning of money is something that doesn't happen by accident. Wealthy people historically have always had multiple sources of income. This isn't an accident. It's by design. You can design this. There is an absolute law governs compensation. We know that there's a law. If I let this go, you know it's going to fall. If I let this go, it's going to fall. It's not going to go up. It has to go down. It has to go down. That is an absolute law. It's called the law of gravity. That's a law of the world. The law of compensation is a law. And it's very exact. I want you to really pay attention to it, because this law clearly states that the amount of money you earn is in direct ratio, it's in exact ratio to the need for what you do, your ability to do it, and the difficulty there is in replacing you. You see, in my particular business, there's the opportunity to earn millions of dollars, and I have earned millions of dollars. Not because I'm smarter than the next guy, and it's not because I'm lucky. It's because I find myself in a field where there's a tremendous need for what I do. When you find a tremendous need, and then you develop your ability to fill it, you've got to become very, very good at filling the need. Take a bucket of water and put your hand in up to the wrist. When you pull it up, the hole that remains is just how much you'll be missed. You can stir all you want as you enter, stir up the water galore, but stop and you're going to find in no time it's much the same as before. Well, what they were getting across is there's no such thing as an indispensable person, but some people are very difficult to replace. And if you make up your mind you're going to get really good at this, you just want to focus on your ability to improve. Become a master at whatever you're doing. Now, this is the focus. The money is the reward. This is the cause, the money is the effect. Take care of the cause, the effect will always take care of itself. Think of Elvis Presley. His estate is still earning money from records of his that are being played on the radio. And those recordings are being played on the radio, and every time they're played, money goes into his estate. That's called a passive income. That's called a source of income. Well, you can start sources of income. You can start them all over the world. You may say, well, how? Well, you don't have to know how. You just have to make a decision that you're going to do it. The how will come. Don't let the how trip you. And once you get one going, then you get another one. See, I believe you can set up sources of income that are very closely attached to what you're already doing. You may say, well, I don't know how to do this. Well, of course you don't. Not to start with. I didn't know how to do it when I started. I didn't even know how to read very well when I started. I hadn't gone to school. I had 2 months high school. I had no business experience. How did I start? I'll tell you exactly how I started. I borrowed $1,000. I bought a used forming machine and some buckets and mops. I started in the cleaning business. And I started by cleaning one office, washing the floor twice a month, $15 a time. Then I got another office at $65 a month. Now I'm up to $95. I was only earning $400 a month to start with. Do you know, one day I passed out on the street. I thought the answer was work harder, get another office to clean. But it didn't work that way. I was exhausted. I thought the answer was work harder. That is not the answer. I realized it was like something inside me said, Bob, you're doing something wrong. And then another little voice said, if you can't clean all of them, don't clean any of them. Do you know, over the next 5 years, I was cleaning offices in Toronto, Montreal, Boston, Cleveland, Atlanta, London, England, and the income was just rolling in from all over the place. Now, I'm not telling you to go clean offices. I'm telling you that I stumbled on something. It took me 10 years to find out what I was doing different. I had set up multiple sources of income. Now, as you set these up, you'll be asking, well, are they all the same size? Do you earn the same on all of them? No. Some of them won't even work. Some of them will die on you. There's so many ways of doing it. You could become a network marketer. You could become an online marketer. You could become an affiliate marketer. See, you want to make a decision that you are going to set up multiple sources of income. You don't have to know how. When you make the decision, you will start to attract how you're going to do it. Some of them will grow and some of them will die. But you know something? They all have one thing in common. They all flow into your bank. Some will be big and some will be small. It's absolutely phenomenal how this works. It all flows into your bank. Great idea. Just an absolutely beautiful idea. That's right. That's where it happens. Now that's an affirmation I've been using for a long, long time. I am so happy and grateful now that money comes to me in increasing quantities through multiple sources on a continuous basis. You keep repeating a positive statement. I am so happy and grateful now that money comes to me in increasing quantities through multiple sources on a continuous basis. Now, we started out by saying only 3% of the people earn 97% of all the money. So the odds of your kids growing up to learn how to earn money is pretty slim. If you don't teach them, they probably won't get it because they're not going to get it in school. School does not teach us how to earn money. There's no place they say, well, that's absurd. You go to work to earn money. No, you don't. That's not a good idea. You think you provide service to earn money. You can earn more money when you're sleeping than you can spend when you're awake once you get good at this. Now, we all get the same amount of time. We get all there is. So it's what we do with our time that's really going to make the difference. 3% of the population are following this strategy. It's where you invest money to earn money. What do they do that's different? They set up multiple sources of income. They multiply their time by setting up multiple sources of income. Now, if you really want to win in a big way, that's how you're going to do it. It's so basic and so simple. Well, you can learn more about it, but you want to study it. You want to study it. Money. Multiple sources of income. MSIs. There's no end to what you can do. There's absolutely no end to what you can do. But you've got to decide what you're going to do. Sit down and write out how you want to live. And it doesn't matter what it costs. You write it down, and then you only think of how to do it. And you set up multiple sources. Now, let's suppose you have never touched a computer in your life, and you're going to learn how to use the computer, how to work with it. It's going to take you a while. And the strange thing about computers, when you learn something, it leads you into learning something else, and then you learn something else. It's sort of like an evolution that takes place in your mind as you start working. At least that's the way I found it, and most of the people I know. When I first started, I didn't even know how to turn it on. But when you make up your mind that you're going to earn yourself a specific amount of money every year, and you might set that magic million. Anybody can learn how to earn $1 million. I believe I can teach anybody how to do that. But you've got to decide you're going to do it. And if you don't decide you're going to do it, the odds of it happening are pretty slim. Now, is it going to happen overnight? No, nothing happens overnight like that. But over a period of time, let's say over 6 months, you're going to learn how to master this thing. You're going to learn how to set up MSIs. And after you learn how to do it, then you're going to start to learn how to multiply it. You can become one of the 3%.
Hey, Sugar. Good evening, everybody. Oh man, I was inspired if y'all wasn't. Always like to hear Bobby P give me that game, right? That juice. So I know exactly what I need to do in order to be successful. And since we all came here to learn what it is that we trying to learn so that we can be successful, right? At this thing we call trading. I thought that that was the most pertinent video that I could share with y'all to hopefully inspire and motivate you and put you in the right frame of mind, the right mindset as we get this thing started and we actually start to talk about how we're going to accomplish the goals that you guys should have been working on as one of your homework assignments from last week. I hope you took the time out to consider what your goals are, because they're going to become very important to you as you go along through this amazing journey. So as I start all of our calls, I always like to say, hey, NSA, right? And that's just to let y'all know that this is regulated, right? So because we're not licensed financial advisors, I can't give you financial advice as to how you should invest your money. What I'm simply here to do is share with you some information, some insights, some experiences, hopefully to help you along your way so that you don't bump your head and scrape your knee and make some of the same mistakes that we did along the way, right? So hopefully we can speed up your process and make it that much more profitable and enjoyable along the way. All right. So since we get all of that out of the way, I always start our calls with our daily affirmation, right? I am so thankful and grateful now that I have patience and discipline so that I am a master trader. And you already heard it from the master himself, right? He got his own affirmation on how he's attracting multiple streams of income to him daily on a regular, continuous basis, right? So if it can work for him and you can see his success, then why can't it work for us? Why can't it work for you? Why can't it work for me? And all we got to do is believe, want it, have a dream, and speak it into existence. And that's what we do at the beginning of each one of our calls. So, as you all know, my name is Jacqueline Lopez, and I am the first educator for the 52 Weeks to Freedom course. And so I want to welcome you all to this evening's call, because I'm excited to share with you all the strategy that I have to share with the team. Because I know, I'm confident that it's going to bring some value to you too. So I welcome you all to the call. I want to start the call off before I get started. Does anybody want to share anything about last week's call? Anything that you want to speak on, touch on, any questions you got before we get this thing started based on what we talked about as far as the outline, the trading plan, or anything like that related to last week? And all you got to do is just unmute your line. If you don't know and this is your first time on my calls are not a lecture call. They're conversations. So you're free to talk to me openly. No questions, no concerns. Everybody's clear as to how this thing gonna start and how we're gonna get it going. All right. So, as we all know, what we're here for is to talk about the sauce. And so I want to share with y'all exactly how it is that we do what we do, right? So that you are able to use the sauce as a means to help you when you're making your analysis and you're learning along the way. And as we go through this process together, it's going to make more sense because I like to share this in building blocks. All right, so here, let's get started. I'm certain that everyone is familiar with the scanner. Is that right? Here, I'm gonna start my video so y'all can see me too. Ooh, hey y'all, hey. Since I see y'all sharing y'all videos, hey. All right, so let's do this. Does anybody have any questions about how the scanner works, what it looks like, anything like that? So that I know what it is that we need to do to help y'all before I get started.
Hi, this is Tiana. I do.
Okay.
I'm not even exactly sure where to even pull it out from.
Okay, cool. Let's start with that.
Thank you.
All right. If you pull up a fresh tab, right, we're going to start from scratch. So I'm going to act like we got all beginners on the class. Y'all don't know nothing, and we just going to get it started, and then I'm going to build off of it from there. Then at least that way it's recorded for everybody that comes in the future so that they can follow along too. All right? Okay, so this address right here, harmonics.im, is the Harmonic Scanner. It is the new scanner, the one that you find through the IM Center. If you're using the old platform, I suggest that you start using the new platform because we don't know how long the old platform will be there, right? And we don't know how accurate the scans will continue to be because we know that we're all supposed to be shifting and moving into the new system. So once you go and you click on the website, typically, here, let's see if I can log myself out. There you go. So it'll come up on the screen like this. All you simply do is place in your login information. All right. And then once you place in your login information, all you need to do is simply log in. Hit log in. It's going to pull you up to this screen, which is the default. This is the way the Harmonic Scanner comes up as default. It is also 88 to 89% accurate, just like this. Okay? So I need y'all to understand how powerful this particular platform is for us. It is really the copy-paste profit platform. All you need to do is be familiar with your vocabulary, understand exactly how the scanner works, and that's just simple technology, simple logistics, right? The instructions is like a video game. Think of it like a video game, except for this video game actually makes you some money, right? So all you got to do is learn how to use it properly. And once you do that, then you're able to be profitable. So when you get the scanner, it comes up exactly like this. And I'll just walk through exactly what you're looking at so that you understand exactly how to read it. So if you notice, hold on, guys, let's see. Right here, it'll take you to the home, right? Which is basically back to the academy. Then I think this is Pip Talk. Bounce. I don't know why it's giving me this glitch, y'all. But if you notice, it gives you the icons for all of the different, oh, there it goes. It gives you the icons for all of the different options that we have as for the add-ons, right? All of the different products that we have available to us. So you can go from product to product to product by simply clicking on the icon, right? And then if you notice, it's exactly like your trading view. It is actually pulling data from trading view. If you notice right down here in the lower right, is that my left, your right, possibly, right? Maybe your left, I don't know, whatever. In that corner, you see is charted by trading view. So it's pulling the information from there, right? And it's giving you the setup based on how trading view looks. If you know, it looks exactly like trading view. You see all of the same icons, and it's set up in a similar fashion. Now, it gives you the option to switch between these various time frames when you're looking at a specific pair, right? And it also gives you the option to change between the different types of candles, if you want to use a bar chart, line chart, baseline area, all of the same features that you get from TradingView, right? So as you're learning the scanner, you're also at the same time actually learning TradingView, right? The reason why I like to refer to the Harmonic Scanner as our training wheels to trading is because it actually is doing all of the work for you. All you need to know is how to interpret it, how to analyze it, and how to place the trade, which you should have already learned by going through your IM Academy, right? And then we'll start to see it in real time during these classes each Wednesday as we go along and as we build on what you should have already learned. So we'll actually be putting these things into practice, okay? It also gives you the option to add a slew, a whole list of various indicators, similar to what you can use on TradingView, right? Now, I will tell you, there are some indicators that are on TradingView that you will not find on the scanner, right? But for the most part, in order to get the job done, the majority of them are there unless it's a custom type indicator that is out there on TradingView, okay? Don't worry about it. If you notice right here, where my cursor is, it indicates exactly which broker you're looking at, because the scanner is going to give you actual scans from a variety of different brokers, and I'll get into that more as we go along. And if you notice, it tells you exactly which pair you're looking at. This one is AUD CAD, the Australian dollar versus the Canadian dollar, on the 15-minute chart, and it also tells you what type of harmonic pattern it is actually indicating has developed in the market, which is a sharp, if you notice. And that is one of the patterns that you would have learned about in the academy. And we'll talk about some different, tidbits to actually pinpoint and notice differences about the different patterns as we go along as well. All right. If you notice, you can take a screenshot, a snapshot of the chart, of your analysis, of your markup. When you mark this thing up, if you want to share it in your study groups, right? So that you can get feedback. Am I doing this right? Am I reading this right? Does this make sense? I need some input from my team to help me be successful, right? And then if you notice, it gives you the option to save your chart layouts, because as you know, we're going to be building the Milwaukee sauce on the scanner and saving it so that every time you come into it, you simply load your chart, you pick your pair, and it will populate on every pair that you place on the chart, okay? And we'll see that tonight in real time. And then it gives you the chart properties, basic stuff, guys. The same things that you have access to TradingView. is actually teaching you how to use TradingView and, like we told you, be profitable, make money at the same time, because it's actually telling you how to interpret what the market is doing. It is telling you everything that you need to know, right? If you notice, you can put it in full screen so that you guys can see it, right? And then if you notice, it also gives you a choice of the 15-minute, the hour, the 4-hour, and the day. Now, what that option is giving you or showing you is that each one of the brokers is going to only find harmonic patterns or scans on those 4 time frames. It's not going to look for them on the 30-minute. It's not going to look for them on the week. It's not going to look for them on a custom time frame like the 3-minute or you know what I'm saying? It's just not going to do it. It's only going to find potential setups on those 4 time frames. And you'll start to understand as you go along with your studies, as we go along through this process, the importance of those various time frames and why they're being used, okay? Notice, it tells you Hugo's way. How many people on the call use Hugo's way? Has Hugo's way as a broker? Anybody?
I do.
I do.
Okay. So if you notice, the scanner is actually pulling potential setups from Hugo's way, right? And the numbers will match up with your MetaTrader 4 because it's pulling it from Hugo's way. And it's showing you potential scans on various pairs. And the harmonic pattern that is indicating is there. So it's actually teaching you the pairs, it's teaching you the patterns, it's teaching you TradingView, it's teaching you how to place a trade, it's teaching you how to understand the pips, right? It's going to teach you all of those things because it's your training wheels to trading. If you can understand and actually master the harmonic scanner, it is your first step to being profitable on your own, because you're going to start to see the patterns in real time live on a TradingView naked chart without any help from any type of platform. You'll be able to see it and be able to call out a signal on your own. You will now become the signal at the end of the 52 weeks. All right? And this is how we're going to get you there, because I need you to understand how to actually see and view and assess the market along the way. All right? So if you notice, when we change it from time frame to time frame, it will give you a different list of pairs that are available. If you notice, no signals on the daily chart right now, right? And so all you have to do is know that the signal that's at the top is always the most recent. So you typically want to start there and work your way down, looking for potential setups. If you notice, this potential setup is right here on the D. The D hasn't actually finished. Hasn't even closed yet. So this isn't a scan that you would want to mess with because it hasn't finished completing the actual pattern. Does everybody understand that?
Yes.
Yes.
I need you to be aware of it, because if you're not, what is going to happen is you're going to jump into a potential setup, and the scan, the pattern is going to shift and move on you. If you notice, it's moving now. It's moving because that candle is still moving. And until the pattern finishes, we can't validate this potential setup. So you move on to the next potential setup. And all you do is go in, log in, and you just click on pair after pair after pair looking for a potential setup. Now look at this one. This one is already gone to take profit 1 already. It went from entry, look, there's 19 pips, 19 and a half pips, basically in an hour and 15 minutes. Just that easy. And all you had to do was set an order, because all the scanner is telling you is set an order at the entry, and you need to be able to interpret what the scanner is telling you. If the entry is at the bottom, if the D is at the bottom, what is the scanner indicating is the potential trade setup? Can anybody tell me?
For a buy.
Buy.
For a buy.
Exactly. So all you need to be aware of is if you see this D at the bottom, then you need to be able to put in a buy what? A buy limit if what? The candles are above it, or a buy stop if the candles are below it. Does everybody understand that?
Yes.
Okay. So all you're doing when you're using the scanner, just default it. All you're doing is coming in here and doing exactly that, looking for a potential setup. Okay, so check this out. Look at this one. This might even be sweet. All right, so now the D is at the top. This is USD franc, 15 minute. It's a sharp, right? It's basically pulling back up to the entry. Does everybody see that?
Yes.
So if you had what? A sell what?
Sell limit. Sell limit.
Correct. Then you would just be waiting there for it to enter you at the sell limit and take you down to at least take profit 1, which is 15, almost 15 and a half pips on a 15-minute chart, right? If you're going from your entry to take profit 2, that's 26.2, 26 pips, right? If it's moving strong, it take you all the way to take profit 3. Oh, baby, you hurt your toe. Okay. Go get a Band-Aid and go rinse it off. Then that's 43, 44 pips. That's your 30 pips for the day off one trade on a 15-minute chart off the scanner. And you didn't have to do nothing but come in here, set the limit, right? And if you notice, it even tells you the stop loss. It gives you the numbers. All you got to do is go into your trading platform, your MetaTrader 4, copy this number as your stop loss. Copy, look, it just hit your entry. Copy your entry or market execution if you see it that it's actually moving in that, actually getting ready to go in that direction. And then enter any one of the take profits. Now, I will tell you the probability of it hitting your take profit 1 is always going to be greater than it hitting 3. So it's safer to go for take profit 1. And as you advance, then you learn how to what? Trail it so that way you're actually securing the bag. And we learn about those things as we go along, right? As you advance in your studies. But for the most part, this right here is potentially telling you this is a setup. Now, I will tell you this. I want to show y'all something. Pay attention to the way the sharp pattern is set up. Don't matter if it's buy or sell. I'm going to show you this next pattern because the first 3, if you notice, were all sharps. I need to point out something I want y'all to be aware of, and I'll go back to that pair.
What you got for the What's the price? What's the price?
So take a look at this one. This is a bat, right? Notice anything different about the setup?
Entry?
Watch. That's the bat. I'm going to show you a butterfly. That's a butterfly. And I ain't talking about the pattern. That's the shark again. Does anybody notice it?
The shark has 2 entries.
The shark has 2 entries. Exactly. So when dealing with the shark patterns, the reason why I bring that up is because if you have your order sitting here at the first entry, your account needs to be able to absorb the pullback if the market continues to the upside, hitting the second entry before it actually reverses and does the move to the downside. Does everybody understand that?
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is, if you notice, between the first entry and the second entry is almost 10 pips. So you need to take that into consideration, right? So emotionally, you know that it potentially could pull back 10 pips. It could even pull right up to right below your stop loss before it reverses back, which is right around 15 pips. But you need to be aware of that when dealing with the shark patterns, because it's the only pattern that has 2 entries that will give you almost like a fake out. Does everybody understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. It's going to come in handy when you start playing with it and you start making notations and journaling why you took a lesson. And it might be because when you're trading, you're not aware of the shark pattern because you haven't learned how to actually see it in the market yet. But you'll start to develop that skill set over time as you continue to practice, as you continue to study and learn to look at the patterns. Looking at the scanner, I still use the scanner. I come in and I look for potential setups, right? Or if I see something, I'll come to the scanner to see if it's on the scanner as well. It ain't nothing but extra confirmation. The more confirmations you have, guys, the more valid the setup is going to appear to you. If you only got a couple confirmations, there's other extenuating circumstances and factors that are manipulating and affecting the market that as a new trader, as a retail trader, you're unaware of. And if you haven't learned about those things, then you're not equipped to prepare yourself or protect yourself from the lesson that you're going to take when you observe, when you actually occur a cost and you actually occur a loss. Because when you lose, it's costing you something, right? So what we want to do is try and minimize that as much as we can. And as we already know, by using the scanner just like it is at default, it's 88 to 89% accurate, right? Okay. So now that we got that, y'all got the understanding of the scanner. I'm moving forward because I'm finna go fast. I need y'all to understand and see exactly how I use the scanner and how I use and built the sauce on top of it. Okay, so this is exactly what I'm going to do. And I need y'all to take real good notes, so that you're able to build this for yourself on your scanner. And if we have time, I'm going to go through how we actually set it up on your phones. And I'm going to use some volunteers to help me with that. All right, so first things first, we're going to use an exponential moving average, the EMA, exponential moving average, right? We use one of them. And then you come over here, you format it. It's going to be a 3. The color is blue. I darken the color. I thicken the line. I click OK. Everybody got it?
Could you do it one more time, please?
Input 3. Style blue. Darken it. It's going to come up kind of funky, almost like see-through. Darken it so you can actually see it through the candles. Thicken the line. Click OK. Next indicator, moving average. Right? Format it. Input 10. Style red. Thicken the line. Darken it. Click OK. Moving average. So we have an EMA and 2 moving averages. That second moving average is the 50. That powerful 50, right? And it's gold. Make sure you darken it so you can actually see it. Thicken the line. Click OK. Everybody got that? I know I'm going fast, and y'all can go back to the recording when I post it.
Thank you.
All right. Now, at default using the RSI. We also use the RSI, but we modify it. So when you format it, you go into your inputs and you change it to 5. When you go into style, I keep the line blue, but I darken it and I thicken the line. Now, I created what we like to call the street, right? So the street is created by the upper limit and the lower limit. And if you notice, it's defaulted at 70-30. So what we do is we change the 70 to 55. We change the 30 to 45. We thicken the 2 lines, right? I make them red. And I make the background red. And I blood it out, right? Because if you playing in the street, you're going to get run over and you're going to be hurt. So, hurt feelings, hurt pockets, you hurt. So, it's red season up in there. Don't play up in there. We want to be blue season. So, stay out the street, okay? And then click OK. Everybody got it?
Jacqueline, you're doing all of this in the harmonic scanner on that chart, not on your personal charts on TradingView or anything like that, right?
Correct.
Okay.
I'm doing all of it on the scanner right there in front of you, right? And I'm going to show you how to save it. So when you come in and log in each time and it gives you the defaulted screen, you can go back and the actual sauce is going to automatically populate on your screen. And I'll show you how to do that too. All right. And then we have one last indicator, which is the MACD. And with the MACD, we uncheck the histogram because you don't need it for the time being, right? To get started, don't worry about it. But what you do want to do is you want to darken up that blue MACD line and thicken it so that you can actually see it. And you want to darken the signal line, right? And you want to thicken it. And then you click OK. Everybody got it? All right. If you
What was
notice,
the input for MACD?
go ahead, say it again.
What was the input for MACD?
It's defaulted. We don't change it.
Okay.
Yep. So that's the only indicator that we actually use. Excellent question. I'm glad somebody caught that. It's the only indicator that we're using that actually is defaulted from the system. The only thing that we're changing is how we're using it and how we're viewing it. But as far as how it actually populates the information, it's at default. Yes. Thank you, baby.
I got wet because I worked.
That's okay. All right. So any questions about how it gets set up? All right.
You're gonna, Miss Jacqueline.
Yep.
You're gonna post the video when you finish recording, right?
Correct.
All right. Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay, so look, it gives you the option to save it. When you click on it, it's gonna ask you to name it. Mine's already in here, right? So you actually just name it, the Milwaukee sauce. And then save it. And now you notice it's up here, Milwaukee sauce. And every time you want to save it, you can. And it'll save it. If you notice this little, I guess it's like a little hyphen. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for, hyphen. Right? In the corner up here, it says hide. You can hide the actual inputs of the indicators. So you have a clean screen. So you don't have all that writing over there. So you can see how to back test it. Right? And if you want to bring it back, you just hit it where it says show. It's a plus sign. And it'll actually show you the breakdown of how the sauce is actually on there based on the indicators that we use. All right. And if you notice, every time I change pairs, the sauce populates on it. Oh, look at this one.
I got a question for you.
Yep, go ahead.
So is there any reason that you would use TradingView instead of just using this Harmonic scan, except for if it doesn't have the indicator?
Yes. Well, TradingView actually gives you more indicators, right? So it's more advanced than what the scanner is going to give you. So what I'm saying is that the scanner is a good way to get your feet wet so that you actually understand the basics of TradingView. Because think about it, when you're on TradingView, the traditional platform, when you first sign up, you get a free account. The free account is only going to give you 3 indicators. The scanner gives you all, look, I already have what? 5 different indicators on my screen, and it's already built into the scanner. I don't have to pay a paid subscription for TradingView in order to use the Milwaukee sauce on the scanner. What I will tell you is that as you advance in your studies, you're going to want a paid subscription to TradingView because there are certain indicators, there are certain time frames, there are other factors that are going to come into play when you're learning how to trade as a professional trader. But you would graduate from retail to professional, if that makes sense.
Thank you, Ms. Jacqueline. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so now I will tell you this. When using the Milwaukee sauce, I'm going to show you just basically how to read it. And I'm going to try and find a clear one so that it makes the most sense to you before I actually tell you all of the details of anything else. And hopefully we'll see some setups. I'm going to see if I find one. Okay. So look, I want to show y'all something. When using the scanner, right, the scanner tells you what your entry is. It tells you your stop loss, so how much you're willing to risk if it goes in the wrong direction. It also tells you how much you potentially could win, right? The one missing factor that it doesn't really tell you is when is the market ready? When is the trade setup actually valid? So you could potentially put in an order at this entry and it never hit the entry like this particular setup here. Does everyone notice that although the market is doing exactly what the scanner said it was going to do you notice it never once hit the entry? Right? So because it never hit the entry, if you had an order sitting here, you would have been mad because everybody else would have been winning on the sale. You knew that it was going to happen, but because the market didn't pull up far enough to where the scanner actually thought it was going to potentially go, and it actually reversed earlier than the scanner thought it was, you actually lost out on an opportunity to get into this trade. Right? Because if you've seen it without the sauce, let's just say we hit it, right? You would have never knew that this was going to change directions up here if you didn't know what was happening, because you would have had to been sitting here watching this in order to actually get into it. But if you notice, and what I like to do is use the vertical line, is I put it right where the cross happens. Now make a note, and I'm going to actually build or share a cheat sheet of how to see it. That makes more sense. But I put a vertical line right where the cross happened, because the first thing that we're looking for with the Milwaukee sauce is for that 3 and that 10 to actually cross. So for example, here, let me show you how. Y'all notice right here where the 3 and the 10 crossed on this candle? Can everybody see that?
Yes.
Yes. Which 3 and which 10?
The 3 and the 10. Remember, the 3 is this blue line.
Okay.
The 10 is this red line. So when I'm talking in numbers, that's what I'm talking about. What I'm looking for is I'm looking for the 3 and the 10 to cross each other. You see the cross happen? Like X marks the spot. Let me see. Right here. You see it?
Yep.
Right? So right where this X is, right where this X is where the 3 and the 10 crossed. That's the first thing I'm looking for. Right? And you can actually set up alerts on TradingView to get the cross on the 3 and the 10. So if you hear my computer start going off, if you hear this ding, 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 ding while we on class, that's what that is. It's TradingView alerting me that the 3 and the 10 has crossed. And it's giving me an indication to look for. If the red is on top, it's a sell. Right? If you notice, the red is on top and it's sold. Does everybody see that?
Yes.
So as soon as the red crossed out on top, it began to sell. Right? Watch. Oops, hold on. Oh, I gotta come back off there. And if you notice, when it crossed back here, when the blue came out on top, it was a buy. Does everybody see that?
Yes.
Yes.
So if you notice, my alerts are telling me if the blue is on top, I'm looking for a buy setup. But if the red is on top, now I'm looking for a sell setup. So that's the first thing I'm looking for, is what direction am I going in? And if you notice, the scanner is already telling me what it is forecasting that's going to happen. So really, the sauce is just giving me an extra confirmation and alerting me to when the actual change in direction is happening. Because if you notice, The change happened down here at 0.67430, up in this area, up in this range, right? Not up here at the entry at 0.6753. Does everybody see that?
Yes.
So what I'm saying is, when you're coming in here, the first thing that you're going to be looking for is you want to actually realize where you're at in the market. Is the market done doing the previous trend? And is it reversing in the direction that I want it to go in? All right. And then once you see that,
Got a quick question.
yep.
Is there ever a time that the red and the blue go against what the harmonic says, or are you just using those for extra confirmation?
Well, they will. Okay, so how can I answer this for you? The indicators will indicate or show me if the trend is ready to change, and I'll show you what I mean when I show another pair, and it'll become more clear. So for example, if this was not here, say this hadn't happened yet, and it was a clean chart, there was nothing there to indicate whether or not the market was going to continue to the upside before it actually moved to the downside. It's the indicators that's actually showing me when the timing element happens. And it makes more sense. Watch, I'll show you what I mean. Let me see if I can find that one that went already. No. That's a good one. Sometimes it'll go against it. Let's see if I can find one that'll show you what I mean. Oh, these were good signals. Sometimes what'll happen is this move right here from C to D will actually stretch out further before it actually comes back down. Or if it's on the opposite side, if it's a buy. No, that's not a buy. Is there a buy? Yeah. So if it's a buy, sometimes it'll come down like this before it actually goes back up, if that makes sense. But the indicators is what's telling me that it's not ready yet. And I might see something on TradingView that I'll be able to show you further. But what you're looking for, so look at this one. This is a good example to kind of tell you what I mean. If you notice, without the indicators, there's nothing to indicate that this isn't going to actually just hit the entry and go to the upside, right? It's a safe analysis that I could just put in an entry, put in an order, and it would just bounce off of it and go to the upside, because that's what the scanner is saying is going to happen. But when you put on the indicators, it shows you, look, that the red is still on top clearly. So it's still moving in a downward direction. It hasn't actually switched to move in the upward direction yet. So what I'm saying is although the scanner is saying it's a buy, it's not ready yet. So that's what the sauce tells you. Is it ready yet?
Okay, just added confirmation that you know when you should get in. I appreciate you taking the time out to explain that.
Yep. So look, for example, and this is a good way to look at that it's not ready.
Still cooking.
It's still, so look, it's still cooking, right? It's still going to the downside. But if you notice, the gap between the two indicators is getting smaller. So it's showing you that the momentum, the volume in that trend is starting to die out. And then you'll start to notice that the candles will get smaller, and then you'll start to see reversal patterns that will indicate that it's getting ready to change direction. right? So what I do is, if the scanner is indicating and it's a pair that I'm actually watching, like in your study groups, you going in here, you looking for your broker, right? Because that's something I didn't mention before. It gives you the option to pick scans off of these various brokers. I always start with Hugo's Way and Trader's Way because I have accounts with them based on the brokers that are here, right? But you're free to find scans on any one of them. All of the scans are valid. I will tell you, if you're looking at a broker that is different than the broker that you're actually trading with, see what I'm saying? And if you notice, it's telling me NZDJPY, and what was the other one? We'll go look at it. Right? It's telling you what scans or what are available on those particular brokers. And once I check for scans on those, then I move to the others to see if there's anything valid that I can see, right? But recognize that there might be a difference in the numbers based on the broker and the spreads when you're looking at a broker that you're not actually using. All right.
I got a question, Jackie.
Yep, go ahead.
All right. So we in the international group, we are using the Frank pairs, CHF pairs. But when I go to the scans, sometimes I don't see the scans for that particular pair, or sometimes they're further down, so they're older scans. How do we do that? Just kind of keep looking for them to come up, or is there a way we could search for the scan at a particular time, or for that particular pair, or?
Well, you'll start to learn in another class about the appropriate sessions, right? I mentioned that last week, that you got to know what sessions you're trading in and which currency pairs are going to be more active during those sessions, right? So if you're looking at a franc pair, you need to be aware of when the franc pair is actually moving. Because if you're not aware, right, then you're missing the scan when it actually comes up. Now, that's not to say that on TradingView, you can't have the Milwaukee sauce available to you, right? And then set up alerts so that every time there is a potential cross happening on your pair, it's going to give you an alert, even when it's not giving a potential setup on the scanner. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, TradingView, yeah. So I had is it okay if I ask another question along that same line?
Yep,
okay.
Go ahead.
So I had a question. I just want to confirm my understanding of it to be correct. So I was looking at the pairs, and I was trying to find out which markets they traded in.
Yep.
And also I wanted to make sure to understand that, say for example, is the GBP CHF pair. Well, that's the franc pair. Is that traded in the German market? Is that the market for Australian market?
Anybody know? Because that's something we're going to talk about in next week's class. Does anybody know that answer? When is the franc pair most active? Anybody on the class? Oh, see what I'm saying?
London session, baby.
London session, baby. Right? So the franc pair is moving during the London session. So that's when you're going to find the most active scans. That's when you're going to find the most available setups. That's when you're going to find that particular market, that particular currency actually moving. And those are the tidbits, those things that you need to be aware of as you study in the pairs.
So in the same breath. So you're looking at. So I understand the London market for the GBP franc, for example. But what if it's like the JPY franc, for example?
Yeah, and the franc moves during the London session, which is something that we learned in next week's class. Next week, we talk about currency strength, and we talk about the appropriate sessions and the pairs or the actual currencies that actually move each one of the sessions. And I go into more detail about that because those are things that you need to be aware of, because as you're realizing that when you're looking for a setup, if you're studying a certain pair, You're recognizing that maybe a setup isn't available to me when I'm available to trade. And that's the importance of getting a feel for what pair is going to be comfortable for you. That's the reason why you're starting to get a feel for learning the different pairs so that you actually understand how they move. Some pairs, like some of the Frank pairs, to be honest, I call them wickies. I call them wickies because they wick all the time. The Frank has a problem with wicks, right? If you look and study the Frank pairs, it's wicking. It's wicking all the time. It wick on the small time frames, it wick on the big time frames. It's wicking all over the place, right? And because of that, you need to be aware of how each one of the currencies move. And we start to learn those things as you actually watch each one of the pairs. You'll actually study and you'll be able to develop a sense of knowing, you know, becoming intimate. Like David Wills always says, become intimate with your chart. It's like having a relationship with your significant other. And you have to be able to know what he or she likes or dislikes, what puts her or him in a good mood or in a bad mood, right? What's going to make them give you the intimacy that you're looking for, right? It's the same thing with the charts. You have to become so intimate with them that you can actually look at them and anticipate their movements, their moves. What are they going to do, right? There are some traders that can look at this and they don't see, you know, candlesticks and wicks. They see a series of numbers or they see a series of colors. And because of the way that your mind works, it's going to help you interpret how each one of the pairs is going to work for you. So, for example, I don't like the Frank pair because I studied it and I don't like wicks. I hate that. I hate when I'm in a trade and the market will wick my take profit but not take me out, or wick my stop loss and kick me out, right? So I don't really like the wicks, but I understand how they work and the importance of them. But that's being able to understand the differences in the pairs. You have to understand the way that the euro works, the GBP, the New Zealand dollar, and each one of the study groups has the responsibility to understand the movements of their currency so that they can share those tidbits with all of us. As you guys learn how the franc moves, you'll come up with ways for us to actually notice and actually forecast what's going to happen before it happens. And that's the importance of the study groups.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so look, guys, if you notice, there was a signal that came up at 8 o'clock. It was on EURNZD, right, on the 15-minute chart. And it's letting me know what happened. The red is on the top. And I draw a vertical line straight down because I need all of the indicators to give me a sound confirmation. Right? Now, there's one thing I need y'all to understand and recognize that no one picked up on, but I'm going to share it with you anyway.
Hey, Jack, I got a quick question.
Yep, go
I
ahead.
was gonna ask you about the Hakanashi candle. Go ahead.
That is exactly what I was going to ask about, Ginger.
I was waiting to see if anybody was on their toes.
That's exactly what I was going to ask.
The Hakanashi. The Hakanashi candles. So if you notice, when I built it, right, I never said anything about the type of candles that we use, right? If you notice, these are regular candles. It's defaulted on the Japanese candles, right? But when we're using the Milwaukee sauce, we actually use the Hakanashi candles. Right? Did everybody notice the difference when I changed from the regular candles to the Hakanashi candles?
Absolutely.
Yes.
It's a much clearer picture. The Hakanashi candles actually give you a clearer picture of what the trend is, the strength of the trend. When you're looking at the regular candles, it's going to give you all of the pullback, right? Which comes in handy. You need to be able to recognize when the pullback happens, right? However, when we're using the sauce, we want to look at it with the Hakanashi because we want to see when the trend actually finishes so that we can see the reversal. Does everybody understand that?
So how is this candle different? I'm not
All
really
right, I'll
seeing
show
it.
you without the pattern in front of it. You see, this is a clear buy, right? And if you notice, it has solid blue candles. And if you notice, when it's a buy, there are flat bottoms,
In the bottom.
right? When it switches to a sell, the candles change red. They now have flat tops, right? But they're moving in a solid pattern. Watch what happens when I change them to the regular candles.
Yeah, big on both sides.
If you notice, it gives you all blue on this side, but look at the red. It gives you this pullback here. Here's even probably a better one. Let's see. Oh, it might even show you here. Let's see if I can move this out the way. You see it? It's
The long wicks
basically,
on the bottom, you mean?
nope. Look at the colors. It's the clarity of the colors. Watch. Let's see if I can get you one here. Look. Look at this buy. You see it? You see the buy?
Yep.
It's a red candle here. It's a red candle here, a red candle here. You see the pullback here? You see the cross here?
Yeah.
Right? It's indicating a sell, but it actually consolidated, right? And then it broke back out to the upside. You see it? Watch what happens. Here, hold on, wait. I'm going to do this so we can section it in. From here to here. Because I just want you to see that part. Do you see it? You don't see
I would like
it?
to say yes. But are you talking about, is it the blue line through the blue candles and the red line through the?
No, I'm just talking about the candles themselves. Watch what happens. If I move, okay, so look at it now. You see it?
I can see the candles, yeah.
You see the candles. Do you notice they're all blue?
Yep.
They're all blue, right?
Okay, yeah, okay.
No red.
Right.
This whole
Even
range.
in the pullbacks.
Even the pullbacks.
Got it. Okay, now I understand. Okay.
So what the Hakanashi is telling you is it's actually showing you that even in the pullbacks, it's still a strong uptrend. So with the Hakanashis, I'm not scared when it pulls back right here because it's still telling me it's moving in an upward direction. All this is telling me is this is a potential for another entry.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Does everybody else understand that?
Yes.
Okay. So that's the importance of the Hakanashis. They're going to show you the overall strength of the trend. Look how clean and how crisp that is. There's no fear, right? Especially if you see these flat tops on the sale. Look how big, how strong the volume is in those candles. And if there's flat bottoms, it's going to continue to upside, right? How strong those candles are. the importance of the Hakanashis, right? So with this particular pair, this is GBP CAD, right? If you notice, it's right here at the D. And it's indicating that it's going to be a what? Who can tell me?
A buy.
A buy. And it's giving you as a sharp pattern 2 potential entries, which is 2 potential setups, right? You could put a buy limit here. You could also put a buy limit here. It might hit this one and this one. That's a GBP and ZD, one of my pairs. That's a Midwest team pair. Let's look at it. Since we want to see if we can find something in real time, and I can show you actually how it works. What was that? 15?
Yeah, buddy.
Was it 15 minutes? Yeah, look at that. All right, so
Wouldn't
look.
that be?
What? Go ahead. Tell me.
Wouldn't that be 6 setups, Miss Jackie, with the 2 entries on the chart?
Yes. I'm glad you caught that. Exactly. 2 entries and 3 potential take profits. Exactly. Twin trading at its finest. There's another thing the scanner teaches you. All right, so look at the sauce, y'all, in real time. GBP NZD. I got an alert, right? What I would do is, thank you, baby. Let me finish my class and then I'll help you, okay? All right, thank you. I would come in here and I would place my vertical line right on the candle where the cross happened, right? And I would draw it straight down. Right? Notice this is the current candle that we're in. This is the candle that closed, indicating that the sauce or the cross happened. And if you notice, it told us the red is on top. Everybody sees that? If you notice, I come down here, second step. Where is it in relationship to the street? If it's a sale, it should be outside of the street. It should be underneath it. It should be on this side of the street for a sale. If it's in the street, don't mess with it. If it's above the street and it's indicating a sale, don't mess with it. All of these things need to line up in accordance in order for it to work. And then if you notice, the MACD, the red has not crossed over onto the top, which lets me believe that it's not actually ready to continue to the downside. This might just be a pullback. Does everybody understand that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
All right. So I wouldn't place a trade based on this scan because it's not ready yet. Right? So you just go back to the scanner to what we was doing. Right? All right. So with this particular setup, we got the sauce on it. I draw my vertical line because I need to be able to see straight down all of the confirmations working together. And then all we're doing is waiting patiently because we see that it's below this 50, which is the other thing that we need to be aware of. Where is the 50, this gold line, in relationship to our candle? And I'll talk about that in a moment. So first we want to know, has it crossed? It hasn't crossed yet, so it's not finished doing this C to D move. Everybody understand that?
Correct.
Once this crosses, we want to know what's on top so that we know which direction it's going. We already know it's moving in a downward direction, so when it crosses, it should move in an upward direction, placing the blue out on top. Once the blue comes out on top, we want to know, has the RSI now moved across and up out of the street to the other side? Does everyone see that as long as it's been selling, the RSI has been underneath the street?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if you notice with the RSI, I mean, with the MACD, here, go back right there. When the sale started, and it's about right there. When the cross happened, yeah, that's more accurate, right? So when the sale started here, the red was on top. It was underneath the street. The red was on top. Everybody see that?
Yes, I see it.
Yes.
So from cross to the D, we're up 54.8 pips in 13 hours. And I'm waiting for the cross to happen to go in the opposite direction to the upside. Right? Does everybody see that? Understand that?
Yes.
Yes.
So now this just makes it that much easier. All we're doing is waiting for the next cross to happen. When this cross is over, we want to make sure the blue is on top. It's above the street, and the blue is now on top on the MACD. Now, I will tell you one thing about the MACD, which will bring me into relationship with that 50. You're going to need to draw a horizontal line right on your MACD. I make it black, and I thicken it right on the 0. And if for some reason you can't get it right on there, all you got to do is kind of just type it in, and it should put you up there, right? Where you can put that 0 line. But once you put that 0 line on your MACD, if you notice, it is almost like showing you where the 50 is in relationship to the MACD. So where the candles and these indicators cross the 50 is the same point that the MACD crosses the 0 line. Does everybody see that?
Yeah.
Repeat one more time, please.
You see where this 50 is? This gold line?
The gold line, yeah.
You see it?
Yeah.
If you notice and you look straight down to the MACD, right? You see how the candles are now below it, are below the 50?
Okay.
The MACD is now below the 0 line. Once the candles went below the 50, the MACD went below the 0 line. And if you notice, look, when the candles went above the 50, the MACD went above the 0 line. Do you see it?
Yeah, I see it. Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
The importance of the 50. The 50 is a moving average that the banks use. They use it to watch for early signs of a reversal. It is a strong reversal zone, meaning when the candles come in contact with it, they are subject to reverse off of it, right? Depending on the strength of it. So if you notice, when the candles are above the 50, it's going to push them to the upside until they cross and break and close it. Once they break, close, and retest the 50, they're going to push to the downside until that trend finishes and then reverses back to the upside. Do you see that? So as it was above it, it pushed them up. Once it crossed it, it pushed them down. Right? Up, down. And it don't matter how far back in time you go, it's going to be the same thing. Up, down, up, down, up. And if you notice, when they come in contact with it, it'll show you consolidation. Do you see that?
Yeah.
And as you start to get better at it, you'll notice, look, It broke it. It came back, it retested it. And it continued to the upside. Everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Right? Importance of the 50. So all I want y'all to do really is get this set up on your scanner. Start practicing with it, understanding how to use it. You're looking for the 3 and the 10 to cross. You're looking for where the RSI is in relationship to the street, and you're looking for the MACD to either be above or below that 0 line, right? Along with the cross, so that you know the strength of the trend. That 50 and that 0 line for that MACD is going to show you the strength of the trend. As a beginner, you want to trade with it. As you advance, you'll learn how to trade against it and catch these actual pullbacks to it. But as you get started, just worry about actually looking for the cross, making sure that the 50 is either above or below it, depending on the sell or the buy that you're looking at, and then look for the complete setup. Does everybody understand that? Is there any questions about that?
Okay, I have one.
Yep, go ahead.
All right, so where the D is, the red line hasn't crossed over the blue line, so then the setup isn't ready on that side, correct?
Correct.
Okay. The significance of the goal line, or the 50, it's called the 50 line, right?
Yep.
The significance of that is when it touches, when price touches it, is in consolidation, and price in relation to that line tells you if it's a sell or buy. Is that correct?
What?
So
Look
the
at
price
this.
itself is a, okay.
So look at this, right? Notice it's at the inch, right? It went from C to D, indicating the buy, right? Up, going
Right.
up, kept pushing up, kept pushing up. It came up to the entry. It faced some resistance, which here's another note. I hope y'all taking good notes, right? Because note takers is money makers, right? The entry, the stop loss, and the take profits are all support and resistance lines.
Right.
They're already built into the scanner to teach you how to recognize them. And if you notice, it came up to the entry, it consolidated against the entry, and then it pulled back down to take profit 1. You see that?
Yes, ma'am.
If you notice, here's the 50. It pulled back to the 50, but it has not broken the 50. Which leads me to believe that if it does not break that 50, it's going to continue pushing to the upside until it loses momentum and the reversal happens, pushing it through the 50 to continue to the downside. Does that make sense?
Yes. So you're looking at price in relation to the 50 and not the 50 in relation to price.
Say it one more time.
You're looking at price in relation to 50 because you're talking about it is going to come back down and test the 50 line, right?
Right.
But it hasn't broken the 50. So you're looking at price in relation to 50 and not 50 in relation to price.
Right. Well, if that's how you want to look at it, yeah. Because the 50 is basically telling, and the reason why it's important is think about it. Notice, it's at take profit 1. We know that take profit 1 is a level of support and resistance, right? Depending on where you're at in the market. If you notice, the 50 is right here on take profit 1. And what happened for the last 4 hours? It's basically consolidated in this area.
Right.
Because it don't have enough strength to push all the way through it. So until it does, it's not going to continue to the downside.
Right. And push through it, you mean it for the sell?
Yes. It has to break and close it, and then it's going to retest it and continue to the downside. And that's something that you learn through practice. Right?
And it matters where the body of the candle closes, not where the wick touches. Is that
correct? Yep.
Okay.
So look at this one, same thing. Look, it came up, it hit the entry, it pulled down, consolidated a little bit, and then actually did pull down to the downside. But look, it came to take profit 1. It started consolidating because it hasn't done much movement. But look where the 50 is. It's going to keep pushing it until it actually does what it needs to do to go through it. And that's why it's consolidating.
What is the 50 actually measuring, though? What's the 50 doing?
It's showing where there's high levels of support and resistance, supply and demand. It's a fight. And that's something we're going to talk about next week. It's currency strength. There is a battle, a tug of war of what I like to call it, between the buyers and the sellers. And when there isn't a clear winner, there's consolidation. And it's that 50 that's basically showing you there's a lot of buyers and sellers in that particular area, and they're fighting to figure out which direction the market is going to go. Without the 50 there, just hide it. There's nothing to indicate that it's not going to continue to the downside, is it? No, there's not. Someone looking at this would safely say, well, it looks like it's set up for a sale. It potentially could keep going to the take profit 2 or 3.
Right.
Right? But because I know that 50 is there, I ain't playing with that until it breaks the 50, and then I'll worry about continuing it to the downside, which is the reason why I said at the beginning of the call, your safest bet is to take profit 1, because you don't know where the buyers and sellers and the orders are, because you're not familiar with looking at the market and utilizing the tools that we have available to us in order to do so, like the 50. And there's other tools that we'll get into as we move forward through the 52 weeks.
So then you would want to have price break the 50 to confirm the sell, and
Yes.
then the blue line would be out of the street underneath the red line for the RSI.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
So this red, it would be just the way it is right now, except for all of this would be under the 50.
Got it. Okay. And where it crosses is the entry point. Well, I guess it won't be entry in this case.
Depending on if it all lines up. Like when this happened, when this cross happened right here, this was a sell. And you could have caught this sell from here to where it's consolidating now, which is about 20 pips.
But on that sell, though, the other part was in the street, wasn't it? The RSI part was in the street, no?
Nope, look.
Okay. Also, the candle after it crosses up there.
So if the cross happens and it's in the street, then you wait for the next candle to happen. Because this is market execution. I don't place orders. I'm moving with the market.
Okay.
Right? That's the difference between what I'm doing and what the scanner's doing. Now, the scanner says place an order. I'm saying I can place the order, but what if it never comes up there?
Okay.
But I know that the cross happened down here, so it's telling me that it's still going in the direction I want it to go.
So, and I don't want to dominate all the questions. So if anyone just jump in, but if you're going to keep answering questions, I'll keep access to get clarity. The black line that you put in, the vertical line you put in, why are you putting it on that candle and not where the red and the blue line, the 3 and the 10, is it cross?
Well, the reason why is because I wanted to show you this. When it first happened, this wouldn't be here, right? So you're right. I would have originally come in and seen the cross here. Let's blow it up. Right? This is where the cross actually happened. This is the candle I would have saw first.
Okay.
But notice, first candle after the cross. So I would have got the alert here. When this candle closed, I got the alert. When I opened up the chart, this is what I saw. This candle right here. And it was moving. Going up and down, up and down, up and down, trying to figure out what it's going to do. But if you notice, what kind of candle is that?
When it tells you to switch directions, I don't know what it's called.
It's a doji.
Doji, yeah.
Yep, see it?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So what I would have done is I would have placed it there, right, to show where it actually happened or started. But notice it's in the street.
Right.
So it's not ready yet. But I do notice that the MACD is telling me that the overall trend is moving in a downward direction because the red is on top. You see it?
Okay.
So what I would do is I would wait for this hour to close, and then I would shift my vertical line over to this candle because now I'm watching the current candle here. And if you notice, this candle is now forming, and now it's out of the street. Now the red is on top. The Hakanashis is telling me it's a flat top, and it's red. Is indicating a clear sale, right? So the actual entry would come in here and ride down, and you would still be potentially in this trade now for 20 pips up.
Like 1.29700 right there.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. But if you notice, it's finding that resistance at that 50. So to be on the safe side, you know, you could take the bag and run and be safe at your 19 pips, right? Or you could actually put in a stop profit, right, to secure some of your profits in the event that it does reverse. It's options, right? But at least now you know how to actually visualize how to get in and how to read it. So it's just watching the candles, and then it's market execution. So what I would do is I would have saw this was red, it was blue, it was red, and I could have market execution and got in for the 20 pips. Now that's more advanced because that 50 is there, and I know it's gonna give me some resistance when it gets to take profit one. Right? But as you start off as a beginner, you want to be able to see where the 50 is so that you're emotionally prepared. If you take the sale and it reverses off of the 50 and goes back up to the upside, you understand why. Because you could potentially be in the blue, and then you're like, oh, it's going to take profit too. I'm straight. Walk away from the trade and come back to it because it bounced off that 50 and it hit your stop loss and you lost. I've seen it happen many times. So that's why I put the 50 there, so I know when it get close to that 50, be careful. Secure the bag. Or watch for the break, close, and retest. Because this is a potential giving you another entry. If it break, close, and retest the 50, you could actually put in another sale entry here and take it to the downside if it continues pushing down, which would be this. It would actually break it, close it, and retest it down. Kind of like that, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but then, like I said, that starts getting more advanced. But as you see, as we start developing and actually building this thing, you'll be able to see how you're going to be able to use the MILWAUKEE Sauce on a variety of platforms and be able to elevate this thing like I have. All right, guys, what else y'all got? Y'all got anything else? Y'all understand how to build it on the scanner, how to use it as basics so that you can actually practice, play with it, get an understanding of how it works. Y'all don't have no questions about none of that. I just want to make sure.
Well, you're gonna repost it because
Yep.
definitely going through it will be helpful. You know, when you repost it, so we can actually go set it up.
Exactly. I want you to be able to do that. All right. So what I'm going to do is, because I know this class ran a little long, and I wanted to make sure that I got all of the information in so that y'all had a clear understanding on how to set it up. I want to know, do y'all want to go over how to put it on your mobile device now, or do you want to save it for the beginning of next week? You tell me.
Right now, it work.
Now.
Right now.
All right, let's do it. How many people got Apple? How many people got Android? Let me know in the chat. If you got Team Apple, let me know. If you Team Android, let me know. All right. So we got a variety of Apple and Android on the line. All right. So let's do this then. Who got an Android that they want to share their screen?
I can share my screen if you want.
Let's go.
I mean,
You got to bring up your MetaTrader 4 on your phone done for me.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm just gonna log into Zoom on this real quick.
All right. Who got an Apple ready? Y'all got apples? Who got apples? I'm gonna need a volunteer to do the Apple. We might as well build it together.
I'm ready whenever you are.
All right, come on. We'll do Android first, and then we'll do Apple. If you recorded my calls, y'all ain't gonna be able to speak to me because it's gonna give you an echo every time you try and talk. FYI. You gonna get the recordings anyway, sugar. I got you. All right, come on. Show me a naked chart. Okay. I want you to go up there to your indicators list. Yeah. All right. Close all of them out for me. Just delete them off of your screen. Delete the main chart. Delete them. All right, now go back to it. Then that way it's blank. All right. Now, you're not going to have a EMA on your phones. It don't come up. It's not in MetaTrader 4. So you're going to have to set it up as 3 moving averages. So you want to add a moving average. Click on that moving average. Right? The first one we're going to set up is that change that 10 to a 3. Okay. Go back to it. Go on to it because you're going to have to edit it. Yep. Now I want you to change the color to blue. Right? And you see where it says the 2 pixels? For style, you see it? Next to your blue? Yep, you want to make it 4 to make it thicker. You want to see it. Okay? And then that's done. And go back up there and add another moving average. Add the little plus sign. Yep. Moving average. Now you want to change that period to 10.
What are you doing? Yeah, they're only for me because.
Yep. And then you're gonna change the color. Go back into it. Change the color to red. Should be the second one, I believe. Yep. Nope. Go back.
This should be for the boys and this should be for the girls as well. All those candies as well.
Go. Yep. 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 Go back to the 10 and change the color to red. I think it's the second one. Yep. Now change that color to red. And then that one's done. Now go in and add a third one.
One more day until we go to.
And change the period to 50. And then, yep, change that color to gold. Click done. All right. Go add another indicator. Y'all see it? See it building on the screen? Now you want to add the RSI. The relative strength index. And it's going to be a 5. Go put your jammies on. Please. And then change the pixels to 4. I keep the color blue. All right, go back to your RSI because you're going to have to edit it. You see the levels? Click that little pencil. Now, change the 30 to 45. Change that 70 to 55. And you see where it says description? Where it says 45, you want to put the description as sell. And you want to put the description for 55 as buy. And you could put the 55 on top with buy on top or 45 on the bottom. It don't really matter. And then you can change the color of your lines to indicate the street. I'll make them red. Or black, it don't matter. Red or white, because if you got a black screen. And then you can change the pixels, and that's really just the thickness of the line. Right? Yep. And then just go back. Yep. Click done. All right, y'all see it coming together? All right, go up there and click another indicator. The last one is your MACD. Now you want to click on the main chart. Click MACD. Leave all of the parameters default. What you want to do is change your main signal. The main line, I think, is blue. And the signal line you can leave as red. If I'm not mistaken, is blue. I think the main line is blue. You can thicken them so that you got the pixels at a higher number. Yeah. Click done. And there you go. Now, I will tell you, on your MetaTrader 4, you have to use the histogram as your blue line because it doesn't show up as just a regular line. It actually shows up as the histogram. But it's still read the exact same way. If the blue is on the top, scroll back just a little bit. Can you scroll back? Yep. Let's see. Yep. Yeah, like that. Right there. Boom. So if y'all notice, if the blue is on the top, it's a buy. Same way. And if the red is on the top, it's a sell. Everybody see that? Y'all got any questions? And now all you got to do is change your pairs. And it's on your screen for every pair. It could be an index, it could be a stock, it could be options, it could be whatever you want. You can use the sauce on it. Pick any one of them, it don't matter. Just gonna populate and show you.
Damn, what the fuck was I thinking? Understand?
So you see it? Now you got the sauce set up on an Android. And everybody else got to see how to do it too. Alright.
Why you have to say Android like that?
Right? So now when you are actually looking at the scanner, you can see the same thing on your phone. Or if, like Chad like to say, you got the scanner on your phone now, because I didn't just gave it to you.
Do we put that horizontal line on the chart?
You don't have to, but you can. Just recognize that it's there. Because if you notice it's so far below it, it won't let you put it there until it actually comes up to it. You see it?
Gotcha.
So I make a note of it, and I know that it's there. And if I know where the 50 is, I still know where the 0 line is, because if you notice, they're underneath it, and it's the candles are underneath the 50. So as long as the candles are under the 50, I know that the MACD is under the 52. They move together. All right, so y'all got Team Android, right? Team Android done. Who got Apple?
I got it ready.
All right. Let's start sharing screens. Come on with it.
You see it?
Yep, I see you now.
Doesn't matter if it's a demo or live.
Nope, I don't care. You're going to set it up the same way. And once it's on there, it don't matter if you switch back and forth between them. It's still on there.
Okay, cool.
All I need is the chart. Ooh, sugar, you're going to have to set up your settings on your chart. Jesus. Ooh, baby. That's a whole nother class now. I ain't got time for that.
I get it, man.
It's all good. Come on. Go on up here to the indicators. All right. Main window, add an indicator. Yep. Moving average. All right. Change it to 3. Your period is 3. And your color is blue. And then change your pixels so you got a thicker line. Yep. Save it. All right. Go add another moving average.
Hey, wait. Can y'all slow down
Whoa,
just
whoa.
1 second?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, so the period was 3, and then we changed that to blue.
Yes. Your color is blue. Your 3 is always blue.
Okay.
And the 3 is the moving average that runs along with the candles.
Okay. All right, I'm on track.
Yep. Your second moving average is a 10. And that color is red. All right. Add another moving average. Which is the 50. And it's gold. Yeah. Orange, gold.
We'll go with that.
That's good.
Alright.
Alright, now you're going to want to add the RSI. The RSI is a 5. The period is 5. You're going to change your levels. Now, the 30 is going to be 45. And the 70 is going to be 55. The description for 45 is sell. So anything below the 45, you sell. Okay. Anything above the 55, you buy. That's how you're reading the RSI.
Okay.
And then you can change the style to make the color red or white, depending on the color of your background, or black.
Let's go with green for that money.
Well, you want to stay out the street, because you go in that street, you're going to get run over, you're going to be bloody. So you don't want green in there. Because that ain't where you're trying to go. Stay out of there.
Right. Alright.
Alright, and then last but not least is the MACD. Leave all of it defaulted. Change your main to blue. And then you can change the pixels on your red to make it thicker. But leave your signal line red. That's it. And there you have it. The Milwaukee sauce, mobile.
I appreciate it.
No problem. Anybody got any questions? All right. Okay. So now y'all got the setup.
Just want to say thank you.
You're welcome. You got the setup on your scanner. You got the setup on your phone, if you Android or Apple, right? And as we go along and you learn how to use it, man, it's going to become so powerful to y'all. I can't wait for y'all to be able to actually be profitable with using the Milwaukee sauce like so many others were able to do. So
I just want to say,
along, huh? Go ahead.
I was just going to say, before the sauce, it was just dry biscuits.
Exactly. Now you got some gravy to sop it up with.
Dry biscuits.
Some dry biscuits, exactly. So yeah, if y'all ain't got no questions, anything that I can give you any other insight on, I know this class ran a little long, but I wanted to make sure you had the setup on your desktop so that you could actually use the Harmonic Scanner, become profitable with it, right? And actually have it set up on your mobile devices so that when you're looking at the scanner, you can actually go to your trading platform and be able to actually see what you're seeing on the scanner in real time, so that when you're placing the trades, you understand exactly how the sauce is helping you become profitable as a trader. All right. So with that said, we've been on the call about 2 hours, so I give it to y'all. I appreciate it for being able to at least stay on the call. That shows strength, dedication, determination, patience, and discipline, right? All that we are learning over the course of the journey. So I'm excited. Practice, 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 right? Practice exactly what it is that we need you to get a clear grips of. So for example, I need you to start practicing placing trades in the Harmonic Scanner. If you don't know how to place the trade, then this week you need to be practicing it. Win or lose, guys. We don't take any losses. It's only lessons. Up, see, you go another alert. We get later in the evening. Right? Start practicing with your MILWAUKEE sauce, getting it set up on the scanner, on your mobile devices. Staying plugged into your study group. Screenshot some of your setups. If you got questions, if this is a buy or if this is a sale, put it in your study groups. I'm always monitoring the groups. And I'm sure that you're going to get some help and some feedback from your peers as we continue this process. Study those pairs. Look for how they come up, when they come up, what time of day that they come up. Because next week we're going to dive all in on currency strength, the appropriate sessions, and we'll start to talk about currency correlations and the relationship between the pairs and the currency themselves. And always remember, guys, stay teachable. All right. I love you all. Good night.
Thank you. Go enjoy your family.
Have a good evening. See y'all next week. I can't wait to hear about all those wins.
Thank you, Jackie. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.